Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am setting my watch for another 5 minute challenge. This is directed for those of you who are a part of Niceness is Priceless and all the different aspects. If you're an administrator, if you're a teacher, if you're a student, and all of those supplemental roles that are associated with them. So, if you're a coach, if you're an athlete, if you're a captain of a specific team, whatever your situation is, you're watching these sets of videos because I am challenging you to work together. And that work together is now an acronym. So W for wisdom, O for obedience. And today's conversation is about R for the word righteousness. Now, when I think of the word righteousness, I know it's a loaded word, and there's a little bit of context that I'm not necessarily going to talk about for our purposes now. But I look at that word righteousness as an all encompassing word that includes all different kinds of layers underneath there. And if you're in my classroom, I talk about character centered words. And I really think that's what righteousness is. It's the collection of all of those words into a general category called righteousness. So let me just kind of go through this real quickly. I do have my watch running, so I'm going to try to get this done within that 5 minutes. So righteousness to me is a set of high standards. It is a high moral code. It is holding yourself and others to that high standard. And I get some of that definition from Merriam-Webster online. So I want you to think about the idea whenever you are involved in different aspects of school, administrator, teacher, student, athlete, sponsor of different organizations, whatever you are you bringing your best into that situation? And if you are bringing your best, are you bringing your best because of some selfishness as a part of that? Because you want the accolades, you want the rewards, you want the recognition? Or are you doing it because you want other people to have their best experiences with you? So if you're doing your best and other people are doing their best, you just have a general positive experience. And hopefully it is that second answer. So let's go through a little bit of this. I want you to think about this idea of righteousness. It is the idea of acting in accord with a divine or moral law. So it's all about this high standard. Like I said in my classes, it's about character traits, being free from guilt or the word sin. And again, that's from Merriam-Webster. So I'm just pulling that straight from the dictionary definition. It is dealing with things that are morally right and justifiable. And there's a whole list of supplemental words here that I created for you. So letter C, it says, the words that are included in righteousness are words like love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, faith, self-control. Those are all high character skill words that require no law or regulations against them. And by contrast, if you're not living in a set of righteousness standards, then there's the opposite words there. And I want you to think about that in context. In contrast, you have words that deal with fighting and hatred and selfishness, rebellion, hurtful words, behaviors and actions, destructive behaviors and actions towards someone else. Anything that has a rule or a law against it is what righteousness battles. Okay, so I want you to think about all the things that have happened on campus, things that are happening recently, things that are happening currently that really make our school look bad. And it's student behaviors, it's activities, it's things that happen in the hallways, things that happen whenever we go to other athletic events, and just how we behave out in public that make us look bad. Those are all things that we have rules and regulations against. Think about everything from dress code to co-curricular expectations if you're on an athletic situation. We have rules and expectations against the things that righteousness would actually cover. No one tells you to go and do those good things because there's no reason to hold that back. If you're going to do those good things, do them. And that's what I'm asking you to do. So live with a certain and act and behave and put yourself out there in a set of righteous, high level standards, high moral standards. Because really what you're doing is living a principled centered life if you're doing that. Ultimately, we're talking about righteousness if you're living a principled centered life, living up to a high standard, self for others, for everyone that you're around. Righteous living is living without fear of punishment. Imagine that. Imagine living a life in all those different areas, whether it's a classroom, whether it's the hallway, whether it's an athletic field, whether it's a stage, whether, wherever you are, doing those things with such a high standard of performance and expectation that you don't ever have to worry about someone getting you in trouble or getting yourself in trouble. That's what I think of whenever I hear the word righteousness. So I am asking you, and there's my timer, and I am going to wrap this up real quickly. I am asking you, as we consider this idea of working together, pursue wisdom. Find everything that you're supposed to do, learn it, experience it. Pursue obedience. Do the things that you're supposed to do when you're supposed to, how you're supposed to. And then finally, pursue righteousness. Righteousness, have that high level of standards for yourself and everyone else. And as we commit to those three things, then we will have the best experience, the best culture, because that's ultimately what we're talking about right now, is creating the best culture on the Jersey High campus. So that is my latest challenge for you, is live with a set of righteousness and bring that to every aspect that you're a part of.